development. I also am the CEO and founder of Wholesome Medicinals. It is a company that I founded last year offering high-quality THC-free CBD products, everything from soft gels, gummies, tinctures, to pet products. As you can see, I've been very involved in WeBank and ORV specifically. I was Advocate of the Year in 13 and 18, and I was WBE Supplier of the Year in 17. And I have served on WeBank's National Forum from 2014 to 18, and I served on the marketing committee within that group. And with me today is Shelley.
Hi, my name is Shelley Fisher of Shelley Fisher Photography and Design. I was founded in 2008. I am owner and lead photographer. We specialize in documentary event coverage, executive portraiture, and marketing imagery, and we have expanded into construction photography. I was the WBE Supplier of the Year with WeBank in 2016, and I am active in a couple of other professional organizations, as well as I participated in the Tuck WeBank Executive Program in 2018. And if you ever have the opportunity to do that, it is a great way to learn more about your business and how to expand your business and make it more successful. I was also appointed to WeBank's National Forum in 2014, and I also serve on the marketing committee. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
And John Munson was supposed to be with here and to offer the corporate perspective. Unfortunately, he had a prior commitment, come up that he needed to attend to instead of joining us today. So I think between the two of us, though, we'll be able to maybe offer some corporate perspectives from the things that we have seen over the years with our involvement in WeBank. So a little housekeeping. If you ever want to ask a question during the presentation, please feel free to do so. You just need to hit that little balloon button there at the bottom, and up comes the Ask the Question box. Just enter in that. It will come directly here to my phone. You can do that anytime during the presentation, but we'll actually answer those more at the end of the program here. But those will start funneling into me at least so we can start having the questions. Today, a little bit about today's agenda. We're going to talk about WeBank, the RPO, and Forum. This will probably be especially good for those that are newly certified and maybe haven't had the opportunity to get involved in the organization since COVID hit, don't you think?
Yes.
Yes. Perfecting your pitch, which is something that is always an evolving thing that's going on in your business, especially as the business grows and so forth. Good to hear that you're moving on into corporate photography. It's interesting.
Well, construction.
Construction,
yes, yes.
Nice. And your company's statement as well as your video, and then creating your company's target list and the marketing process to those. And it may not be just the corporate members within WeBank. It could actually be to other WBEs that you meet at these events. So what is WeBank? WeBank is the largest third-party certifier of women-owned businesses that are owned 51% or more owned and controlled by the women business owner. They were founded in 1997, and they're headquartered in Washington, D.C. There's 14 regional partner organizations, and as you can see from this map, some areas are quite large, and then some areas, some RPOs are relatively small. It looks like on the map, especially Texas there, they're sort of their own individual RPO. But they have about 16,000 certified WBEs and hundreds of corporate members. I think it's around 400 or 500 corporate members now. WeBank website, if you haven't actually been on that website, is a wealth of information. This infographic actually came from the WeBank's annual report. I think it's a good one to show the amount of WBEs, the corporate members, educational opportunities, and then you can utilize these logos in your marketing materials, on your website, in your email. I know you're a service-based business like one of my companies,
Right.
so how do you utilize yours?
Well, I have them on my email, my email signature. I have it on my website. I have it on my capability statement. So I kind of have it everywhere because it is worldwide known, the WeBank logo.
Yes.
And one other thing that I wanted to say was mention that WeBank's core platform is certification, opportunities, resources, and engagement. So that's all that you get in this one package, and we'll continue to explore that.
Yes. So I'm going to have Shelley talk a little bit about Forum and the opportunity there, but I will mention that WeBank does have a couple of signature programs pre-COVID. They had the WeBank National Conference and Business Fair, as well as Summit and Salute. Both of us have attended those events, and they're wonderful events to attend. They each have their own pluses and minuses to going to them. Summit and Salute is a very small, intimate event where corporations are being recognized for their involvement and utilizing WBEs in their businesses. But the National Conference and Business Fair is a way for WBEs as well as the corporates to highlight what they do. The WeBank National Conference and Business Fair is a massive event. Several thousand WBEs attend that event.
5,000.
Is it 5,000? Okay. And now Summit and Salute was more around 1,500. We hear that next year is WeBank's 25th anniversary, and to honor that, they are looking at trying to do the WeBank National Conference and Business Fair in Atlanta, Georgia. The dates have not been determined yet, so hopefully we'll see that as things progress and we go back to live conferences that will happen. But if you'd like to talk a little bit about Forum.
Okay. Well, we have both been involved in Forum, and Forum is an advisory council to WeBank's National Council and the Board of Directors. And we give input and feedback on the different programs and what really matters for the WBEs. You are selected by the executive director of your RPO, and I've been serving since 2014. So during the WeBank conference and business fair, we go a day or two earlier, and we just have meetings. Also, what has been really nice to keep the momentum going and to keep the connection of Forum. During the pandemic, we would have kind of monthly virtual meetings, and there'll be consultants on there, because also the WeBank Board of Directors also wants to offer a lot to their Forum members to help better their businesses.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity, if you have the opportunity to get involved in Forum. Now, there are open sessions for Forum. Members that aren't necessarily appointed to Forum, you're still free to go and to listen to those sessions and participate and offer input. And those are a great way to offer that as well.
Yeah, great way to collaborate with other WBEs.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about our region. WeBank ORV is a 3-state region of Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Approximately, there are a little over 1,000 WBEs, and this is the breakdown of those within our 3-state region, with Ohio being the largest. And this is data that we had as of June 30th this year. If you haven't had the opportunity to really explore WeBank's ORV's website, I would suggest you to do that. If you go under the corporate tab, you can find all of the corporate members, and you can see that we have a fair amount for a region of our size. And the number just keeps growing, and there's all sorts of people in various industries, everything from Honda, Toyota, to insurance, to the city of Columbus here in Ohio, to Ohio State. So there's, educational institutions to, Fortune 50 companies. And of course, their signature event is Catch the Wave, which is getting ready to start September 13th through 16th. I don't know about you, but I'm a little excited about that.
Yeah. It's always a good time, because the WeBank National Conference is so big. Sometimes you don't even see the people in your own RPO. But at Catch the Wave, you see everyone. It is more intimate. The discussions are deeper. The same corporations are there. And it's just an excellent way to touch and feel and get to know each other.
Yes, yeah. Especially more in that live setting. Unfortunately, this year it's in that virtual setting, and we all, of course, understand why. But there is an interesting component to that for this year. L Brands is sponsoring the opening night receptions, and we appreciate their support within the region. They do so much. And for those of you that don't know what L Brands is the owner and parent company of Victoria's Secrets, Pink, and Bath & Body Works. But they are sponsoring the opening night reception, and this year we're going to have watch parties in the various locations throughout the region. Currently there are 7 that they're hopefully going to have nice participation in. I know we're looking forward to the one here at the zoo.
Columbus, yeah.
Yeah. Cummins Facility Services have been so gracious, and Jill will be joining me next week to talk about that watch party, but they everyone sort of stepped up in the other cities, and hopefully they'll have nice participation with corporations, and you get to maybe see your fellow WBEs that you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a virtual photo booth component in each of the cities. Make sure you take your photo because then we can see you, because it's hard to see everyone on a virtual conference, but just make sure you get your picture in the virtual photo booth, and we may even display it.
Yes, and we will be helping to stream from Columbus, and I know that they plan to go to the different cities and have everyone wave and show the support. So we're looking forward to that component this year.
Columbus is going to be in Asia.
Oh yes, and actually Columbus is actually going to be in the Asia area of the zoo. I think it says Africa, but they think something happened. They had to move us into the Asia area. So now we're going to move into the meat and potatoes of this webcast and talk a little bit about the pitch components. I don't know about you, but you know the pitch can be sometimes a little thorn in your side. There's so many things that you need to do, and depending on who you're talking to, and oftentimes I think as a business owner, you think that the pitch is only a one-size-fits-all, and it really is not. It's an ever-changing type of thing that's happening. You want to have your core, and the core is what do you do, how do you do it, what is your value proposition, and then the reason to believe, reason why you do this and get up every day to do this for your clients. So here is an example of my pitch, and this particular pitch is sort of the core of what I would use if I was talking to someone in the e-learning video production side of, and to tell them about what I do, showing that I have a local, regional, national, global presence for compliance and regulatory-based training. However, I would tailor that based on whoever I was talking to. So I may start out my pitch by saying 200,000. 200,000 is what we saved the largest Central Ohio hospital system who utilized our e-learning platform. So that is going to be like my little tickler to get their attention, and they're saying, oh, this is real dollars that this particular client had. You're going to help. I think it's helpful to use a case study. How do you go about crafting your pitch?
Well, I look at, the same thing you said, depends on who you are talking to, because I feel that I've always had 3 distinct areas, excuse me, and that is event coverage, like conferences, meetings, special events, etc., or executive portraiture. So I say, are you publicity ready? And then talk about that, or the marketing imagery. And now that I've added construction photography, if I'm talking to a construction firm or a bunch of different people in that arena, then that's what I'll speak to. But you want to make it short. You don't want it to be long, and you kind of don't want it to be sing-songy either, because people may get lost in what you're saying. But just be very distinct and make sure that you are addressing a problem that that client may have.
Correct. Yes. So another piece that you may need as you start attending these events, and hopefully next year as they go live that you'll need these types of items, but they're good to have in a digital format. Is your capability statement, and that acts as if your company's resume. Our personal one is a one-page design. It's just a single page. It can be up to 2 pages front and back. It basically highlights your company, and then it opens the doors as a discussion when you meet potential clients, whether that's a supplier diversity person with a corporation or another WBE. So these are some of the components that you have in your capability statement. You know, you really sort of almost want to have your pitch as far as your value proposition. I think that's a good piece to have in there. What are some things that you have in yours?
Well, I have an overview, and I hit those 3 items: the documentary event coverage, the executive portraiture, and the marketing imagery. Then I talk about our service and capabilities and technical skills. Now, mine is a 2-pager, but you want it designed. It's not like a resume. It's really prettier than a resume, but you definitely want it designed so you can break up these different things. I have our promise. I have differentiators. I have a partial list of clients. I also have room for my little picture, as well as I have 3 samples of photos with a testimonial next to it, as well as my awards and my NAISC code. So that sounds like a lot, but if anyone's interested in seeing it, you can email me at sf@shellyfisher.com, and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Yeah, I've seen her capability statement. It's very pretty.
It's functional.
Yes, it's very functional. It is. Here is a sample of mine, just so that you can see mine is all on one page, and it lists all those items that we had on this previous slide. You know, it has, I have some key projects, the NAICS codes, a partial list of past performance, you know, that shows the types of companies that we work with and their industries, of course, their certifications, things of that nature, and then some highlights. I chose to do some highlights of some case studies on how we have helped clients. You know, like I talk about saving one department $200,000. We also did a custom app development project where we have, you know, we're allowed, it's a nationwide app that allows remote online notary system for up to 404 million notaries across the nation. So those types of things that you want to highlight in your basically your company's resume. I would encourage also, you do have your owner's photo, and if you don't have a very pretty headshot, of course we know Miss Shelley here would be more than happy to help you with that. But definitely invest in a headshot because it's good when the supplier diversity people are talking with you, when they have that sheet, they can then put that name to that face right there as they're trying to then maybe get you into the internal stakeholders within companies. Another component that you may want to think about is a company video. WeBank now, on WeBank Link, there is a place for you to upload that from YouTube and have that, and I will say many of the supplier diversity people will utilize that. You also have to think about, as a business owner, you need to look at what your competitors have, because if your competitors are talking to those same corporations, you need to look at their website, what they're having, what type of items that they have on their website. If they have a company video, what does that look like? Because if you want to play in that sandbox, you've got to also have those items to make yourself look like you're that type of potential vendor for them as well.
And regarding the video, I do have one on my website done by MediaScript. So if you need one done, there's MediaScript to do it. But
Thanks.
I didn't think a lot of people looked at it, but I get a lot of comments on it. And it does give them a flavor of who you are, not just what you do, but who you are and your personality.
Yeah. And your video does not have to necessarily show you, and it doesn't have to be, like a live type of video. You can do it animated. There's many opportunity, different ways to highlight what you do. I would almost use it like a case study. You talk about the events that you've done. I know you talked about some of the products and services that you do with your event services. So corporate targets, who to go after and why. So this can be very difficult, I think, sometimes, especially when you're starting out as a business, because you may not have a lot of clients already. And so some of that has to go back to maybe your past experience in other companies that you've worked with and how you've handled projects. But I think that it's beneficial to look at your core companies, if you have been around a while, and the industries that you're currently serving. So industry experience is something that will definitely help you open yourself into other doors. I know one of our clients is a healthcare system. So naturally, I would want to talk to other people that are in the healthcare area because I can already show a past performance to that client.
I know that you may want to say, oh, look at all these corporations. I want to attack all of them. But that's not really smart. And it's not time efficient. But what you can do, that is one of the values of the supplier diversity managers. If there's a corporation that you're interested in, you have looked at them online to see what they do. You find maybe a little niche that your company can help solve a problem for them. Well, then get in touch with the supplier diversity manager because they can help talk you through that. And they also know where to direct you. So instead of just, let's say, going to one of the conferences and just running up to someone and say, hey, I have this. I know that I can help your company. Well, that's not going to get you very far. I think, and I just want to kind of segue where we talk about the conferences, whether it's Catch the Wave or the national conference. If you look at the list of people that are going to have booths or that are going to be there, look at them, evaluate if they would be a good target market for you. Look at their websites, find out what they do, even make a call before, like I mentioned, to the supplier diversity person. And then even if you need to tailor your presentation, like your pitch, or if you change something on your capability statement, or if you have brochures or whatever, then you can go up to that person and give your pitch. And then, it just makes a lot more sense to do the homework before versus just rushing in, and it's a waste of time.
Right. And I think also I will say for my other business, Wholesome Medicinals, it's on the retail side of things. MediaScript is a very B2B type of business. Wholesome Medicinals is a business to consumer. So now I'm learning more about the retail side of things. And WeBank is holding a great series right now, Women in Retail, to build up to the holiday season. And the first, one of the first ones to lead that off was Target. And then I just took another one with Macy's. And they're two very different types of businesses. Target, you have to have a past performance to work with them and get their product in the store. And it's several $100,000s of sales that you have to reach before they will even put you in regionally or locally in some stores. But Macy's is a very different animal. They will look at even startups. And, if you have a product that they think will go in one of their stores, or it's in an area that a hot commodity, as they say, they will potentially look at that and help, you launch into the stores. So you have to really start to understand the corporations and do those homework and utilize the resources that are out there, whether they're nationally or locally, and listen to those industry type of events. Lowe's is getting ready to start another series in September. It's going to be a 5-week series on what it's like to work with them and how you go through that. And, I've learned a lot just from the retail side of things, but, it does come down to that homework and thinking strategically, as well as offering that industry experience.
And that's another reason why it's beneficial to be part of WeBank, because they do have those industry-specific webinars and seminars, and it just makes sense. And then that's a great networking opportunity too, because not only are you learning from the corporates, but you see other people that are in that arena and someone that you can maybe join forces with, you
Right.
know. So, looking out and watching for those industry-specific webinars are very beneficial.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to talk to the corporates, especially if you have the opportunity to, but also, do that homework. And I think when you create the target list, utilize WeBank Link's database, and I'll show a little bit more about WeBank Link next week. But there is an area over on the left side where it says search, and I think it has members, and then it has, I can't remember what the other, but it's the second tab. Those are the corporations, and it has every corporation that is a member of WeBank, and if you click on it, for instance, Toyota is in our region, we'll just use them. It'll show that they're a member nationally, as well as all the RPOs that they're involved in, and of course ORV is one of those. And so you look at whether or not you can maybe see them on a national scale, or you're going to meet them at an industry event that's regionally, who that supplier diversity person is, because every region may have a different supplier diversity manager that you can reach out to. And get engaged. Find out what's important to them. Read some of their annual reports. Are they winning industry awards within WeBank or even the NMSDC? What's important to them and their company culture? Show up and support your RPO. I know that ORV is really hoping to have more industry events next year and to launch that as a way to get out there. They had one right before we shut down that was with Ohio Health last year, late 2019, in the healthcare sector. Energy is going to probably be one, automotive. Those are the types of corporations that we have in our RPO. And then volunteer. Use your time and experience. Share it with other WBEs. There's many ways to volunteer. You can get involved in the regional conference. Next year, regional conference is going to be in Louisville. I'm sure they're looking for people in that area that's going to help. Also, you can utilize your experience and expertise by working on the certification committee. And if you'd like to get involved in that, you can always reach out to Colleen or Robbie at ORV to find out what's involved as far as getting involved in that. The industry events, if you have a certain subject that you're maybe an expert on and you want to share that within the RPO, there's plenty of ways to do that.
And also think of sponsorship. If you have the opportunity and the wherewithal to sponsor certain luncheons or certain seminars, or even participate in the swag bag, I've always believed that FaceTime's the best time. So, as you know, if you can keep on getting your logo out there, your name out there, showing up, it becomes a family real quick.
Yeah, definitely. And again, research the company. We have Google. We have a great resource and with us now that you can just hop on. It's not the day that you had to go to the library and research things. You can go to their website. Most companies have a supplier diversity website so that you can research what's important to them and their company's culture. Look them up even just with Google searches and find out what other publications are writing about them and what's going on with their organization, and those press releases and awards are a wealth of knowledge. Yep. So after the event, I know, again, we're not going to be live this year, but, you can still, connect. Yes. And connect with there's going to be a matchmaker portion of Catch the Wave. So hopefully if you haven't already signed up to attend Catch the Wave, you will do that. And then you'll want to follow up, and the fortune is in the follow-up, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah, because the supplier diversity reps, they get so much information from cards to brochures, everything, information, and some people think that they should remember them. But what I like to do is after I speak with them, I like to get their card and then let them know that I'll follow up with them via email. Or I say, is it best email, or maybe someone rather receive a hard copy in the mail, but I take it's more important to me than to them, so I'll get their card, make them that promise, and follow through on that promise.
Yes, yes. So now's the time. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We will happily answer those. I think we gave you a lot of material to cover. We went over a lot of material, I should say. But I think, you can go back and watch this on demand, and we'll just see what questions come in here. Let's see. I have one. Yes, Charlotte said, look for us in Lexington, Kentucky next year. Yes, I know they already have a venue selected, and it's going to be quite an event from what I hear. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag too much, just yet. And I don't want to steal their thunder, but I think it's going to be a great event next year for Lexington. Let's see. In the meantime, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, other than I've been a member, I would say about 10 years or so, and it's definitely worth it, because with the fee that you pay on an annual basis, there is no other way to market yourself, to get opportunities in such a condensed type of situation. Because I think that because of my certification, it gives me a voice. Now, many, many years ago, because I've had a prior business, so I've been certified as a diverse vendor for almost 35 years. And I remember when I was first certified 35 years ago, and I went into this major corporation, all green, say, "Oh, I'm so excited that you're going to do business with me."
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "I only have the responsibility to let you in the door and talk to you. I don't have to do business with you." And the reason why I say that, because a lot of times some people think that just because they're certified, they are owed the business. No, you still have to work for the business. You still have to be a good business. And you still have to market yourself, because it's usually more than just one you. So certification, I feel, helps in the marketing, getting the word out about your company, having the prospects, but you still have to do the work, and you still have to do the work at a very high level.
Yes.
To compete, because you're not only competing with other WBEs, but you're competing with business people in general.
Yes, yes. I will concur with that. All certification does, I think that many people think when you get certified that, oh, well, now they have to do business with me because I'm a diverse business, and that is not the case. It is a lot more work. All that does is give you an opportunity to actually maybe meet with a corporation that you would not have necessarily had that opportunity to meet with before. But you do have to put your best foot forward, and it's going to be a small project first. You're going to get a very small project, and then from there you're going to maybe get another project, and from there it's going to go on to another project. You may actually, reaching out, specifically in the automotive space, they have what they call tier programs. So they may actually see a good fit with one of their tiers, what they call a tier 1 program, and you work as a tier 2 or even as a tier 3. So you're supplying something that's going to supply something to that car if you have that type of widget. So those are the types of things. It's just an opportunity to get you in front of someone. It doesn't necessarily make them give you that opportunity to give you the business.
And I do want to warn you, it may not work the very first time. You may literally have to spend a year or two nurturing that relationship before you get a project.
Yeah.
So just because it didn't work today doesn't mean it's not going to work tomorrow.
Right. And, you have to know, depending on what type of industry you're in, I know in our industries, there's many other photographers. I know several that are just like Shelley. whether they're MBE, LGBT, veteran, whatever. So you're not only competing against other women business owners, but you're also competing against other diverse suppliers in other certification programs. There's many other video companies out there, as well as website and app development companies. So there's many of you. It's just not one. And then in some industries, there's a lot of you. If you're in staffing, promotional products, things of that nature, there's a lot of other businesses competing in that industry. So,
well, one other thing I want to say is don't overlook business with each other.
Right.
I know we all want the big business, the corporate business, that $1 million project, but with all the WBEs that have a variety of businesses that have a variety of value, there is a lot of business to be done with each other. Like we do business with each other.
We do.
And each other referring you to. So that's why it's important not only to show up to meet the corps, but to show up to meet the other ladies.
right, yeah, because there are many over $1 million businesses in our region.
And there's a couple billion.
Yes, and there's a couple
Yeah.
billions. So, I would be happy to work with any one of those.
Yeah.
So one question that we had is, do you think it's important to maybe have more than one capability statement? And I would say yes. It would depend on your market and who you're going to go after. You may, for an event, want to have one that's just a snapshot of what you're going to be doing for that particular overview. But if you're going to an industry type event like we talked about, whether it's healthcare or automotive or energy or things of that nature, if you have experience in that, you're definitely going to want to focus your capability statement to that, just like you're going to want to craft your pitch to that. I wouldn't use my e-learning pitch if I'm going into somewhere that's going to that wants to talk to me about an app. I will talk about my app and the experience that I have, and then touch on the other pieces that I do in my business, only because you still want to share what you do in your business, because it's so funny. Oftentimes people will say, well, I only thought you did this, but you should always be sharing what you do as a whole company, because like today I learned, Shelly's now in the corporate side of things, so with construction. And she may not have known, a year ago we started developing apps. So those are things that we always should be sharing with other WBEs as well as those supplier diversity people.
And it doesn't have to be hard. Just have a template, like for your capability statement, have a template where certain things are set. And for industry specific, just change that one, like the first part, but then have everything the same. So it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to re-engineer your whole capability statement.
No, it definitely does not. Let's see. Waiting to see if there's any other questions. Sometimes they can be a little slow going. Because there's always a delay on our end. So I have a question for you, because you're also certified with NMSDC. How, I think it's beneficial for you to be certified in any organization that you can be. But are there pluses and minuses to be to have their certification, with that organization versus the other, or do you like WeBank better, or talk about that?
Okay.
Not to put you on the spot.
Thank you. Well, I believe in certification. Like I've said, I've been in business for over 35 years, and way back then there was only the National Minority Suppliers Development Council. So I have been a part of that council for that long. I just learned about WeBank, like I said, about 10 years ago. And I asked a corporate member once, which one should I do, because I'm a black female. They said, oh, well, just do one or the other. But I woke up one day and said, I don't know what side of the bed that the supplier diversity person's going to wake up on. And I have found beneficial to be a member of both. Because what's very interesting is the similar corporations, there's a wider variety of businesses to meet and to network with. And like I said, I believe FaceTime's the best time. So I show up to all of the WeBank ORV events, as well as the National Ohio Minority Suppliers Development events. And I see the same people, which I think is great. So it helps continually nurture the relationship. But also, I am certified with the City of Columbus as an MBE, WBE. I'm certified with the State of Ohio as EDGE, MBE, and WBE. And right now, I'm working on my ODOT certification, the DBE. So I think they're all important because it just gives you a wider net and a larger opportunity to be known and to know. So I just think they're all very valuable because I truly believe if it wasn't for certification, I definitely would not have gotten into these major corporations as their photographer of choice.
Right, right.
So it has made life a lot more fruitful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think they have pluses and minuses on both sides. But you know, with you being involved in those, it's helpful, I think, to have you talk about that. Mm-hmm. So I will also say, I see I have a couple more questions, but I did want to say one thing while it popped in my head is we are in a different type of time right now. Especially with the fact that we can't go to some of these live events. And I will say that I know in dealing with one of our clients that sometimes you're reaching out to these supplier diversity people and it may feel like you're going into a black hole and that you're not getting the responses from them that you may want. But sometimes they may not be getting your message. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But I know one client that we have right now, they have high level of cybersecurity within their organization, and emails will go into a quarantine if they don't know you, if you haven't responded from an email that they have already sent previously, that email could go into quarantine. So just know that if the supplier diversity people aren't reaching back out to you through traditional email methods, it may be that they're not getting that email because we are in a different type of time right now and we don't have the FaceTime with these live events. And then with the cybersecurity that's going on in a lot of these larger corporations, your email just may be going into a quarantine and they don't even know it. So
well, you may want to think about going old school, call or send mail.
Yes. Yeah. Especially if you know that they actually are still in the office. Mm-hmm. Yes. So one question that we had was, how did we persevere through the tough times? Oh.
Like last year?
Yeah, so I will say, as something I've learned as a business owner over the past 12 years, business never gets easier, the zeros change, in my opinion. You know, when you're starting out, it's hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and then it becomes tens of thousands of dollars, and then, you know, you get where I'm going with this. So the zeros, to me, just change. It's always going to be some sort of challenge, and whether the challenge is caused by what happened last year or your business survives and thrives because of what happened last year, you know, doesn't mean that 2 years from now that my business may not take a dip. So you have to learn to just ride those ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you do have to kind of get creative. And I specifically go back to last year because I've never had anything like that happen to me where I just didn't work because there were no events. People weren't getting their portraits done, and everybody was talking about pivot. I said, well, I'm where I want to be. How am I going to pivot? I take pictures. But when I just settled down from the fear,
yes.
And you know, they say that fear is a false evidence appearing real,
yes.
Although I think it was real. But anyway, I just started thinking because someone told me, what do you do? Look in your Rolodex, Shelley. You know people. Ask people what do they want. And then I started thinking, I do shoot a lot of construction, and I never thought about that as a focus. But that's one business that kept on during the pandemic, was those buildings were still going up, and
Right.
a lot of the work was done outside. And so there I have grown another portion of my business. And then I thought, well, what else could I do but staying true to myself, which was being an image maker, being a photographer. So it's kind of taking a deep breath. And also what I did and what I want to mention during the pandemic is I still reached out to my clients and just said hello. You know, I knew they couldn't give me any business. There wasn't any business to be had, but I just wanted to reach out and send them an email and say, hey, I hope all is fine. I'm just thinking about you, and I'll be glad when we get back together. So, you know, now in 2021, things are still a little iffy, but they have definitely picked up, although I still wear my mask.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you just have to learn, you know, I know in our business too, you know, e-learning is the core of what our business started. That's how we started MediaScript, was to help small and medium-sized businesses have a way to build an e-learning presence. But during the pandemic, it was about custom app development. And where did that come from? I don't know. You know, people were sitting around having ideas percolate in their head, and then they would start to reach out to people and connect on, you know, hey, I have this idea. Do you think this is something that could potentially take off? And they want to explore that. So I think, you know, you have to also find and be at peace with just knowing that there's something greater than you out there, whether you want to call that a God or a higher power or the universe or whatever it is. But you just have to go with that process. And oftentimes I think it's very difficult to walk that process and know that everything else is going to be okay. But hey, quitting is easy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but quitting is so easy. And, you know, Ron and I run MediaScript together, and I think it oftentimes comes down to we don't want to quit at the same time. One of us may want to quit, but the other one's not quite ready to throw in the towel. So you just, you know, you keep going and walk through that other person's faith that everything's going to be okay. So I do have another comment, actually, that came out that it said that ORV sent out an email today to find out who may be attending the watch party in their cities. So if you could look at your junk mail and, you know, move it over to your inbox so that you can respond to let them know that you may be attending the watch party. But it came from virtualfusions.com. So just look for that. If it didn't come into your inbox, please look at your junk mail to make sure that that did come in, and let them know who's going to be attending. I know I'm looking forward to the zoo.
Oh, yeah. It'll be fun.
The lions and the tigers. And we're going to have all sorts of things. And there's a baby elephant.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And we're going to be in that area.
Okay, you're happy.
I know. I love the zoo. I love taking our daughter there. That was so much fun.
I'm not a big animal person, I have to admit, but I'm looking forward to it.
To our house. That's a zoo.
Yeah, our house is a zoo, as Ron's saying. So, so if there's not any more, oh, there is another question. I was going to say, we may give everyone back their 10 days. What do you want to achieve next?
Well, my goal has always been to shoot because I want to, not because I have to. I
Right.
mean, it's just as simple as that. I have grandchildren now that I visit. I still love to work. I still love my events and my portraits, but I just want to be in the mindset because I don't think I'll ever retire because photography is also a creative outlet. But when people ask me, what do I want to accomplish? I said, shoot because I want to, not because I have to. I don't need to be a millionaire, but I just need to be comfortable and secure and healthy and still be able to create. Because I do feel that the creation, photography, and all that still brings smiles to people's faces, and I like that too.
Yeah, I know. I like that. It's for me, it'll be interesting. I have two businesses now that I'm focused on, which are in two different realms, consumer and then B2B. So I would like to see MediaScript eventually grow and maybe have our daughter take it over. I don't think she will. She's ready for that. She's graduating high school this year. She's a senior, which I can't believe. And I know she wants to forge her own path, but part of me hopes that maybe in 10 years from now that she'll want to come back and take over MediaScript. I know Ron hopes in 10 years from now he's not in MediaScript anymore. So maybe he's ready to retire. But we'll see about that. So that would be my goal. Whether or not that will happen, I don't know. I think MediaScript will be around for some time just because it's something that we can work with our core clients, and I enjoy working with those clients. I don't know if it'll grow to a wider capacity or not, but we'll just let that play out. Wholesome Medicinals is just a new passion that I have with our family's personal experience with CBD products, and it's just something that I wanted to explore, being the serial entrepreneur that I am. And if I grow it to actually get into a retail store, I think that enough will be, I'll be happy with that. But I want to see it grow beyond just CBD products, and that's one reason why I changed the name. I originally started a CBD trading company, and I just did a DBA to Wholesome Medicinals so that I could grow into other areas, because that's something that is important to us. I would like to see it grow into weighted blankets and other supplements and natural things of that nature. So we'll see. I'm not ready to retire anytime soon.
You're still young.
I know, just a little. So if there's not any other questions, we can always let you guys go back and get back to the 9 minutes of your day. But we appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you, and we thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Next week it'll be Jill with Cummins Facility Services and Lanice with Ohio Health offering the corporate perspective. But I thank so much and look forward to seeing you at Catch the Wave. And thank you so much for doing this with me today.
And
I enjoyed
thank you
it.
for having me.
Yeah.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too. Have a good day.
All
Bye.
right, bye.